Hey everybody, I'm Arie. Thanks for joining me. I am so excited to share with you Dataclay's latest app that we call Projector. Now, a lot of our templater bot users, they love how much content it creates, they love how automatic it is, they love the force multiplying effect, but the one question mark a lot of our users have is, how do I get Templator's output out there to share with audiences that the videos are meant for? That's what Projector is all about. It takes Templator's output, processes it, and deploys it to various platforms and captures all metadata about that deployment so you can share that content with whomever needs to see it. So I'm going to show you Templator working together with Projector, monitoring a singular sheet. Let's take a look. Now we've got this After Effects project that's already configured for Templator. We have some dynamic footage, we have some dynamic text. This is just showing you Templator is connected to a sheet and it is iterating through that automatically. Okay, great. Let's start Projector. I'm going to click it on the dock. What I want to focus on is this notion of projection. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is click on Enable. What it's doing now is watching the same data source that Templator is watching. But what's new is this stream status value. This controls projection in the same way that the render status values control the bot operation in Templator. So you gotta have a stream status column to make Projector work. So I'm gonna scroll over here and you can see these in the light blue labels. These will be where Projector writes certain values to. For example, this is a timestamp value. This is a URL to watch the asset. This is another URL to watch the asset. These are download URLs and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of each, but know that these labels here are documented as reserved names. Let's go ahead and change the render status values and the stream status values so that Templator and Projector can work in concert. So I'm going to go ahead and change waiting to ready for Templator bot. And let's just go ahead and do the first items here on this page. And then what we're going to do is set these to pending. So if a render status is set to done and a stream status is set to pending for any given row, Projector will process it and deploy it. Okay, let's head back into Templator and make sure that bot is set to replicate. So I'm in the preferences and sure enough, replicate is enabled. This means that Templator will create replicas of the master project file rather than render directly out of After Effects. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And what we're going to do is click on Enable Bot. And let's go ahead and just bring in the Projector app right here into the data source so we can see what's going on. And we're going to go ahead and hit enable here. We're getting replicas are being finished, so the render status is done. Projector found these two cells. The render is done and the stream was pending. So now it picked it up and it's launching After Effects right here. And let's just go ahead and leave it running to see if it gets through all of these 8 rows of data that have been processed by Templator. All right, it looks like all of the deployments are done and the URLs are in there. That's great, we'll review those later. But this one didn't make it. We're just gonna set it back to pending and try and force Projector to rerun it. Okay, let's go ahead and disable Projector. So let's go ahead now and just make the spreadsheet full screen. And I'm gonna go ahead and just zoom out a little bit, maybe 90%. All right, so in the stream view screening column, we have links to the video assets that Projector deployed to Vimeo. So it's really fantastic. I can click on a link, view it, QA it, and then make sure that all is good. The view broadcast allows the user to review the video and make some changes or edits. And then the asset video is the direct download from the S3 bucket where Projector archived the output from Templator. The asset poster column is a direct link to a still image that Projector extracted during the transcode process for the video. So let's take a look. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on the first one. That'll take us to Vimeo, and here's the video right out of Templator. You go from Templator to Projector to broadcast. You can always have a QA step, but the general workflow is so smooth in terms of beginning from creation to distribution to exhibition. Projector can read data from the data source and use it to add the title or to add the description. So all of that kind of stuff is dynamic. If we go to the next one, let's go to this one right here. Here's the next video, and you can see the description is dynamic and the title is dynamic. And let's go ahead and go down to this one right here. And likewise, here's another one, and let's go ahead and play it back.
قم بتوسيع نطاق مصادر بياناتك. يمكنك استخدام كيو كمصدر بياناتك الحصري.
Okay, so that is the power of Projector. You go from content creation to transcoding to distribution to then sharing it with whatever tools are at your disposal. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to have Projector and Templator handle all of the rows. So let's go ahead and I'm going to zoom out really far, and we're going to change the stream status to pending for all of the remaining ones. Let's go ahead and go down. And let's go ahead and let us change this to ready. Go down here. Okay, so all of these rows are ready to be rendered and they are pending a stream. So let's go ahead and start up our tools. All right, let's head back over to Projector, and what we're gonna do is just enable it, and that is running in the background. We'll just leave it in the background. And let's go ahead and now enable bot, and let's go back to the sheet. So let's just wait and see what happens. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit and just check back in every now and then to see what's going on with it. So let's just leave these engines running. Let's take a look at the mission control area. You're gonna see something called workers. Now, these are processing multiple After Effects project files simultaneously. And this means you get about a 40% increase in render speeds over using just Templator bot rendering directly out of After Effects. It's pretty cool. All right, we got through that mission really well. Now what I want to show you is a little bit about what's going on in the background of Projector. So what happens is Templator creates the replica AEPs, and here's the output destination that Templator is set to. It creates the AEPs here, but then Projector takes over that AEP and it exports it using AE render. In this case, we used a QuickTime module to get the export and onto the drive. Then what we did is in the transcode process in Projector, we create an MP4. And this asset is what gets deployed to all of the platforms. And not only does it create an MP4, but it created a still image of the video for use in some kind of poster image in a video player. But it also can create an animated GIF. And that's a really powerful feature when you want to include imagery in an email or SMS or something like that. All right, so that's just the output destination. I'm gonna open up an app called Transmit for Mac OS, and this shows us the S3 bucket that Projector is connected to. On the left is the bucket called Templator Output, and there's a folder called SRT demo. And this is where Projector is actually dumping all of those extracted assets from the AEP. So once it transmits it to the bucket, it takes the URL and it dumps it back into the data source. Aside from deploying to S3, Projector also uploads to Vimeo. And here I've opened up our Vimeo page and you can see all of the videos that Projector has deployed automatically. Now I want to go into Projector and I want to share with you some of the details about how all of this is set up. And what's nice about Projector, it's like a set it and forget it app where you make configurations and you just leave it on in the background. So we have some areas in the UI, transcode, storage, streaming service, some globals for the streaming, and then your data source where it's connected to. Then we have the export area, which interfaces with After Effects' AE render command. So if I scroll back up, the transcode area has a setup button, and this allows you to set up certain transcoding configurations. The poster image allows you to configure how you want the transcode to extract a singular image to use as a poster. And then you can also export a GIF preview clip. And there's some values here that you can change as well. Okay, we're gonna go click back, and then in storage, you just set up your S3 bucket right here. You know, you enter in your credentials, your secret key, or the region that the bucket was created in, and then the bucket name, and then a folder. Now, if the folder is not inside of the bucket, Projector will create a folder, so you can change this whenever you want. So we're going to hit back. And then the streaming service, you get to choose which one you want. Right now, we're supporting Vimeo and JW Platform. Vimeo is great because it's very user-friendly. JW is also very user-friendly, but it's more of a white label platform. I highly recommend looking into it. It's very versatile and it works very well, and they've been around for at least a decade and a half. So if you go into setup, here you can do things like define the player that you want to use when somebody views the video. You can also set up what we call tokens for determining what you want your title and description to be. So if you click on this, for example, you can choose any of these tokens that are coming in from the connected data source that Projector is connected to. And then at the time of deployment, Projector will expand the token into the actual value for that particular job. So earlier when I was showing you the Vimeo page, I had this nationality data point and then the language and so on and so forth. And then just this constant speaking. So we had nationality, speaking something. Likewise, if I clicked on here, I can get to the statement, and the statement is inside of the data source that shows the actual verbiage that the avatar spoke. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go back. And then in the streaming globals, you can set things like the privacy, you can set the poster time if you don't extract a poster during transcode. And then you can also determine which group or playlist or showcase you want all the videos to go into. So then in data source here, this is where you actually connect Projector to Templator's data source. So if I clicked on setup, what you do is you just take the URL to the sheet and you dump it into here, then you type out the worksheet, and then the input file directory is actually pretty critical. Your input file directory is going to match the output destination in Templator. So here, Templator is outputting to this directory here. But when we go into Projector, the input file directory is going to be where Templator is creating the AEP. So that directory needs to go in here. And then the video asset file extension refers to if you're using AEP exporting, you're going to need to specify what the extension is from the output module. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go back, and then export is all about getting the AEP exported out of After Effects. And so you can choose the version of After Effects that you want to default to. Projector will actually do some inspection to find out which AE render command line it should use depending on the AEP version that it was created in. And then your output modules, we've supplied the default output modules in this drop-down list that After Effects ships with. But if you don't have your output module, you can always click plus, type out the name of the output module that you created inside of your After Effects host, and then hit plus, and then it will be added to here and you can use that output module. And the same goes for the render settings. And then finally down here, this is where you can determine how frequently Projector pulls your data source for new data to process. And then in the mission control area shows all the workers that are available to process any assets that are coming through Projector. So you can set how many workers you want, and this is a great limiter to save RAM when you find out that when you're running really highly complex renders, you can certainly reduce that to free up more RAM to do other things on the machine. And finally, when you are using this, sometimes you want to find out really what's going on. You click this open logs directory. This is going to show you where the general overall app log is right here. And then for each worker, there's also a log, and this will show you a lot of things about what's going on inside of the After Effects process and the transcode process and things like that. You can always click on docs here. This will take you to the documentation site for Projector. There's a lot of information in here. We've done our best to organize it in a way that makes sense for new users, and if you have any questions, reach out to support@dataclay.com. Okay, that is Projector's overview. I'm Arie Stavchansky. Thank you for watching. Go to dataclay.com/projector to start your free trial today. Get it installed and start automating that distribution process. And until next time, happy rendering. Take care.